And hello everyone, welcome back to another nim tutorial. In this tutorial, we'll be taking a look at the stats module in nim. So let's import std/stats. And let's create a variable called class1mark. We'll call class1marks, which will be of type running stat. So stats allows us to perform basic statistical analysis of data, which is fancy pants words for it makes math easier. So class1marks.push. Now of course we could have set it up here, but this is just to show that we do get a push value or a push function from this stats module. And in here we can push a sequence of data, so let's say 70.0. Alright, so here we go. So this could be the marks that maybe the first class got on their first test. Now we can of course echo it and say class1marks, and we can see what data we get. And you'll see we get number of probes 7. The maximum value here, that would be 95. The minimum value would be 30. And the sum of them is 426. The mean value is 60.85, and then we have the STD deviation, which is 19.23. To convert it into a string, it's as simple as just putting a dollar symbol there, and boom, this is considered a string. So it might still look the same, but it's a string. Now you can also get class1marks.n. N gets the number of data in the stats. So if we run this, we'll get 7. So it's that probe value we saw earlier. So if I run this again, you'll see that number of probes is 7. We can of course later push more values here. So let's say we also want to add maybe a couple of students that did their tests late. So it's 10.0 and 90.0. Then if we echo out class1marks.n, we'll get 9 instead of 7 because there are 2 new values inside of this running stat. Now you can also do .mean, and this will get the mean value of these values. So now it will be 58. Now this is pretty much just the average of all of these values. So all of these added together divided by what would be 9, because there's 9 in total. That will give you the average or mean of all of these values. So the average this class got was 58. You can also do variance. This computes the current population variance. You can also do with an S, which will get the current sample variance, and that will give us 746. You can also get the skewness, and this will get the current population skewness, which is negative 0.36, as well as skewness S, which will get the current sample skewness. And then we also have the kurtosis, which will give us negative 0.72. And then we also have with the S, which will of course give us the sample version of it, which is 0.24. Okay, now back to things most of us will understand. We can also create another class, so I'm going to copy this, paste this here, call it class2, and then I'm going to say class2marks dot push. There we go. So now we also have the same version for class2, so well, not the same version, but the same idea. If we were to print this out, we'll see we have 7 values with the max of 100, the minimum of 25, the sum, the mean, and deviation. Now we can also add these together. So class1marks plus equal class2marks. So we can add these two running stats together to create a bigger version of the running stats. So if we did echo class1marks, you'll notice it is significantly bigger with 16 number of probes the max of 100, the minimum of 10, the sum actually of 0, and the mean of 59. And then of course you can, if you wanted to, clear this data and then echo it out again, and you'll notice it is empty with 0 probes, no max, no min, no sum, no mean, and no deviation. Deviation is none, which is just not a number. And that's the basics of the stats module in Nim. For those of you who do work with statistics and whatnot, will probably find this very useful. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all again in the next Nim tutorial.